many of the battles for the future GOP, we're going to have to look to the House, both on the speakership, in terms of the legislation they may or may not allow through, exactly the whole to fund some legislation. That was always humiliating for Boehner whenever you have to go to Pelosi. And the thing is, though, is that Dems would almost always certainly give her.
You're leaking fuel! Get over now! And we're back. So we're back on the road. Last episode we left off in Las Vegas, Nevada. Dropped a load in Salt Lake City. Then after that Salt Lake City load, we're headed straight back to Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's go. Alright, so we delivered that load in Las Vegas, got dispatched on another one, headed to Salt Lake City again, and then got dispatched on another one, headed to, you guessed it, Shafter, California. Alright, so we're going to Shafter, California now. Let's go. Alright, so we dropped that load in Shafter, California, and then we got assigned another load going from Van Nuys, California to Los Angeles, California. The load was picking up at about 11 o'clock, and it was 11 in the morning, and it was delivering about 1300 the next day. And if you don't have a map in front of you, Van Nuys to Los Angeles is about 200 miles. And it was 2 live loads. So it was a live load and then there was a live unload. And I looked at that thing and I just went, I don't want that. I mean, that's over 24 hours for a grand total of 200 miles for 2 live loads driving through Los Angeles, California. And I just really didn't want it. So I declined the load. I just sent them a message saying exactly that. For these, it's only 200 miles and it's a whole day, and I just declined the load, which I don't normally do, but this was one where I'm like, that's not worth it. I'd rather sit. And you know what he did? My driver manager, he just found me another load. So that's an interesting point. Thought I'd bring up about night. It's no forced dispatch. So if you don't want a load, you don't have to take it. Now, I very rarely decline loads, very rarely. Usually if I decline a load, it's because of weather or something like that. Very rarely will I look at a load and just, that's such a bad load, I don't want it. But in that case, that's what I did. And yeah, there was no pushback at all. So thought that was interesting to know. No forced dispatch. I wouldn't be declining too many loads, but that was one I just looked at it and went, nah, man, I'm good. I don't want that. I'd rather sit. So that's what I did. So I declined that load, and about an hour later, I got another one going to Kingman, Arizona. So I did have to deadhead still down to Los Angeles, but it's drop and hook, so I just dropped and hooked down to Los Angeles, and then took it to Kingman, which was, much better. So that's good. So just thought that was an interesting point here. But yeah, so we actually delivered that one, and then got another one in Las Vegas, headed to Los Angeles area again. So we dropped that one in Kingman, grabbed another one in Las Vegas, and now we are headed to going back to Los Angeles. However, that Los Angeles load is not going to make this paycheck, so we're going to get into the spreadsheet right now. Okay, it's spreadsheet time. For this week, we did 5 loads. And in those 5 loads, we got 2,491 miles. We also received 4 days of layover, and we were paid a total of $1,495.68 for an average of 60 cents per mile. These 4 days of layover were actually from the prior week. They didn't pay out till this week though, so that's where I put them. I wasn't sure whether I was going to get like 3 or 4 days of layover for these prior weeks, because they were pretty close. I think I sat for like 36 hours on both of them, and there were 2 separate occasions where I sat for 36 hours. But they usually don't pay out if it's like, they're supposed to be 48 hours if you want 2 days of layover. I asked for 4 days. They said, yeah, well, let me talk to the terminal manager. And so I wasn't sure if I was getting 3 or 4. But they gave me 4. So that's why I didn't put it up here, because I wasn't sure how much I was going to get. But yeah, 4 days of layover. That's for the prior 2 weeks, but it paid out this week, so I put it there. But just a note there. That brings our overall to 43,295 miles, and we've been paid a total of $23,302.37 for an average of 54 cents per mile. We are averaging 2,165 miles per week and averaging a weekly paycheck of $1,165 at the same rate per mile. If we kept this up for 52 weeks, we'd be paid we would get 112,566 miles, and be paid a total of $60,586 at the same rate per mile. One viewer asked what the rate would be without layover, so I put it over here. It's 49 cents per mile, so that's what I'm getting without layover and without detention, is just shy of 50 cents per mile. Days of employment: employed 156 days, taken 12 days off. That does not include the 30-day period that I took off. We've had 27 days of layover. That includes that up there. We've had 10 hours of detention. And between layover and detention, we've been paid $2,076, which is almost 10% of my pay, which is a lot. Days on duty: 144 days on duty, and we paid $161.82 for every day we've been on duty. Had 117 driving days, and we get paid just shy of $200 a day whenever we drive. Average load length is 585 miles, and when we are on the road driving, we get an average of 370 miles per day. And all of this, by the way, is gross pay. Okay, yeah, guys, there you have it. That's week 20. Not too bad of a week. 2,500 miles almost. Could be a lot better. No update on the lease. I don't want to bother the lease coordinator every single week. I'm sure he'll call me if anything changes. I'm expecting to be driving as a company driver until August, basically. Hopefully early August it'll be ready. There's no way of knowing though, but I'm just guessing it'll be probably early August that I'll be in a lease. But that's about it for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want this link, it's in the about section below, along with a blank template of this spreadsheet, and the lease operator analysis I did a few weeks back is also in the about section below. So all those are available. They are Google spreadsheets, and you can download them and use them however you want. So they're available below. Really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.